Of all the millions of Frankenstein adaptations that exist, Guillermo del Toro makes what I believe is maybe the second best one, or the third. I don't know. I kind of, by the way, my creation in the background is enjoying her squeaky toy. But Guillermo del Toro's take on Frankenstein, I liked it, although I'm kind of like, I like the Kenneth Branagh version. Like, I like how it's basically the book, but on speed, and is completely absurd and bombastic, because there's elements in this adaptation that is vastly different from the book, and even Branagh's version is different from the book. It's made more like an action film in a way, but damn, that movie is insane. And when we're talking about like people who played the monster throughout the years, I'll just say I think Jacob Elordi is my favorite Frankenstein next to Boris Karloff. Like, he captures the sensitivity of the monster, and he also captures the rage of him, but he does it in a nuanced way where he's not just playing it up like De Niro did in the Branagh version. I know I keep referencing that one instead of the original film, but that movie is so ubiquitous. Like, what is there to really mention that we don't already know? And this movie does play the same plot points of the story that we all know, that's been adapted to the screen, and it has elements of the book, but it's changed. Elizabeth, for instance, played by Mia Goth, she's sort of like the actress character in King Kong, not the original, because in the original I don't think she really cared about Kong, but maybe I misinterpreted it. But like in all the remakes, she is the beauty that killed the beast, and in this one, Mia is like Mia. I'm calling her by Mia. But Elizabeth, she's like the only one who is kind and tender to the creature, and she has a sort of a romance with Frankenstein, but I won't give much away. But she's pretty much the she's kind of like the sweetest character in the film, where Frankenstein, played by Oscar Isaac, who oddly channels Apocalypse in his Victor Frankenstein voice. Like, why channel the character from a movie that bombed unless you don't have that many different voices to use? Although, like, his British accent was convincing enough, I guess. But yeah, his Frankenstein is interesting because in most Frankenstein movies, it's hard to really get the motivation of Frankenstein. Like, why would he want to recreate life despite hubris? And here, there's actually a personal reason to it connected to his childhood that makes sense. It's cliche, but it works. And it does give him a certain heart. But when we get to that middle act, and he goes from being a kind man to just a horrible monster, it just comes like that. Like, he just makes this huge decision that's in the plot of the book and of the, of all the movies that is necessary. It does its own thing with it, but it's necessary. But did it need to go that far, that fast? Man, my dog really loves that ball I bought her. But yeah, it's a little too bloated too. Like, Christoph Waltz plays a character in it who I think could have been removed completely, and you would have gotten the same thing through Frankenstein himself. So there are liberties the movie takes. It is its own thing. It's a very Guillermo del Toro-ish film. You have like the very harsh, contrasty blue and green color tones, a constant spinning camera, a lot of gothic imagery. And, like, Guillermo del Toro is kind of like Tim Burton if he had a little more nuance to his films. I think the way I worded it in my review was a little too harsh. Maybe I should change that. But I do love Tim Burton, though. I mean, Batman will always hold a certain place in my heart. But movies minus nostalgia, I think Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood are both fantastic movies, and unfortunately that was him at his peak, and now but for Frankenstein, I think if they just trimmed 20 minutes of the movie, had Victor's turn from like good person to straight up piece of crap midway through the movie, would have worked a lot better if they just gave it the sort of motivation in writing that first act of the movie did, which, although bloated, it did give it something behind Frankenstein, a real heart to it, although it just doesn't work in terms of the overall feeling it's supposed to give you when Victor has his big turn, which, I'm sorry, I know I'm nitpicking it, but that is like a vital plot point in the movie that the movie just emotionally lost me in. But thank God for Jacob Elordi. He kind of saves the film. Mia Goth is wonderful too. She's very sweet in it. But yeah, I had a certain thought, but I'll keep it to myself. But yeah, anyways, I gave the movie a 3 out of 4 Guinnesses. It would have gotten a 3.5 if they just did the things I pointed it out a few seconds ago regarding length and characters and motivations and stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's one of my favorite adaptations of Frankenstein. Again, I got to see Bride of Frankenstein again. I haven't seen it in forever, but I remember that movie being pretty darn good too. But yeah, it's outside of that, like, all the other Frankenstein adaptations bore me. If there are really good ones outside of the Branagh film that I like because it's kind of like a good bad movie / also kind of a good movie, maybe I should do a podcast on it. Please let me know without telling me I don't know crap. But yeah, I'd like to see Guillermo del Toro also return to maybe more movies where he's, doing something that isn't based on popular material. Like, let's see him make Shape of Water or Pan's Labyrinth or Devil's Backbone or something like that again. Anyways, but still, pretty good adaptation. 3 out of 4. You can find the full written review at ypareviews.com. These thoughts went on for way too long. Okay, thanks.